Hey guys, welcome to episode 7. This will be a miscellaneous episode as well as an update episode. I'm over halfway done the mock-up build, so I do have a lot of loose ends. I have a punch list I've made. You can see that. So that punch list, not everything can be done on there right now because I'm waiting on a couple things. So let's just kind of go through. There's some things on here that I've done. As you can see, there is some more progress done in the truck, so that will be in here. But there is some things that aren't quite as far as I would like them to be. So let's start with the brake booster. We'll start in the engine bay. The brake booster and the master cylinder. So I did decide to put those on, and I will get into that on why I chose to go that route right now. The master cylinder bracket showed up. Here it is, booster. There it is. So I have decided I am going to indeed mount it up. There's multiple reasons. The first one, I want to kind of see where it ends up here. Make sure I clear the valve covers, see where the proportioning valve fits. I want to see where my brake lines will go nice and neatly because there's going to be all custom inner fender wells getting measured up next week. So I want to make sure that all fits in there. And then I want to see where the brake pedal actually sits so I can mount my gas pedal properly. Make sure I clear the column. And the ECM is going to be mounted up in here somewhere. So it's a little bit bulky in this section. Make sure I got enough room. The fuse panel somewhere in here. So I got to kind of mock all this up just to make sure it all fits. I've just removed the bracket that goes from the top of the firewall to the dash. Straight there, that's gone. The master cylinder bracket will kind of hold that in place now. So let's keep going. There it is installed. Portioning valve, master cylinder, and booster. Doesn't look that bad. When the firewall's all shaved and all white, I think it'll look really good. I have some offset lines coming down nicely through the fender wells, the inner fender wells. All in all, it looks pretty good. There it is installed there. Pedal. The day has come. Finally, steering wheel showed up. I think that's a record. Forever Sharp. There it is, black and white. Chevy sign, 5-bolt. So we'll be able to throw that on. There it is. Everything works. Clearance. Gas pedal will go over here. Transmission tunnel over here. Alright, now that the master cylinder and the booster is all in there, it's all mocked up. I'm not going to worry about the brake lines right now. The next thing is I really do need to get these inner fender wells all done. That's going to tell me kind of where I can put my air filter, how I'm going to mock that up. That's kind of the next thing. Any of the hoses, all that can be done later. That's not going to be in my way. So that'll be the next step. I believe that he is supposed to come and give me a hand next week. So we'll see very shortly in one of the next upcoming episodes. That should be all complete in there. Okay, next. I talked about doing something cool on the high rise. So I did powder coated that copper color of the rims, and I did have something cool done. I want you to take a look at that. I'll kind of go over what I did there. I think it looks pretty good. Okay, the lighting's not that good, but so the truck's called Pennywyze. So what I did is I mixed the Canadian penny with the American penny. One Chevy instead of 1 cent. Got the year of the truck instead of the year of the penny. Pennywyze instead of Canada. Instead of the big maple leaf on the Canadian penny, it's my truck. AD for advanced design instead of the designer of the penny. I wanted it graffiti style. And then instead of In God We Trust, I've done In Chevy We Trust. And I went out of the box and did Louis Vuitton print, but anything to do with Chevy and Canada. And so it's got, you know, the little 51s, Canadian leaves, Chevy symbols. Not a huge fan of materialistic things. I think it's a spoof towards Louis Vuitton, high-end truck, so to speak, I guess. I think it turned out pretty good. It should look good when, you know, everything's white, black, and all the subtle touches. I think it'll be something different. Although I didn't need to have that done right now, I was just kind of eager to see how it turned out. So that'll be taking off and covering the manifold properly before paint. Anyway, the next thing is the hood, the emblem on the hood. I had original plan to do the original emblems, but I did kind of think I came up with another idea. So take a look and let me know what you think. I might have a change of plans. I bought these script Chevrolet hood emblems. They match the coil covers. I bought these on Amazon actually, and they're real metal, they're not plastic. My original plan was to do the Chevrolet 1300 on the side of the hood. The only thing is I've sandblasted them, powder coated them. They're just so old that they're all pitted. I mean, I could buy the new ones, but the only reason why I was going to keep them because they were original from the original truck. Now I think I'm going to go the modern look. I'm a little bummed on the 1300 though because it's a Canadian truck. Everybody thinks it's a 3100. Yes, the trucks are 3100s, but it's just the model's different in Canada. It's a 1300. So I really wanted to keep that. I don't think it'll look good now. I think I'm going to go that route. If you guys have an opinion, just let me know. Chains turned out good, all powder coated, copper color, so that'll look good on the white tailgate with the black writing on the Chevrolet. All right, moving on to the cab. So brake pedal works. I do have a couple modifications there, nothing major. Gonna put the gas pedal in, gotta mock that up, figure out where that goes, or how I'm gonna do that part. So that's ongoing, as well as the ECM where that's gonna mount, the fuse relay, the Dakota gauge controller. There's a few electrical things that have to go in there. So I'll let you take a look at what I was thinking to do that for mounting. I pulled out the gas pedal, here it is. I gotta find a mounting spot for it, or how I'm gonna mount it. I still need to sort out how to extend this brake just down 2 inches. I think I might make an extension on here instead of cutting and welding. Don't want to change the pedal ratio, so I'm going to work on that to get those just perfect. I also need to figure out where my electrical panel's going, where my fuse relay, and my ECM. So that's all got to fit up there. There's also the gauge controller for Dakota Digital that's got to get up there too. So I've decided to make a template that fits all up and around there, cuts out the middle piece of where the bracket is for the booster, and then I kind of lay it on the ground, mount everything where it's going to go. The ECM, fuse relay, my electrical box. So what I'll do is I'll draw where the booster bracket goes, and then I can kind of lay everything out on here, see how it'll fit, and then I'll build this out of MDF, carpet it all, bolt all the panels to it, slide it up there, and then should be able to just wire it in place. All right, and the more I thought about it, I think it's just going to be better that once I get the motor and everything disassembled and everything out of the cab, cut the firewall out, put the new firewall in. That way I know kind of exactly where everything's going to go, and then drill the final holes for the electrical main feed and the 3 bolts for the pedal. So that'll probably be done a little bit later, but that is an ongoing project. The rest is grinding, patching, cleaning all that up, pour 15 the floors before I put the kill mat down. So that pour 15 will all be done before I send it to the actual paint, because it's all done hidden anyway. I just really want that sealed and protected. That's pretty much the last thing in the cab. Moving on to the back of the box. So that's the one I've been pushing off as long as I can. One is, I've talked about it in a previous episode, is the rear end. So Chop and Block sent me a 62-inch housing. It actually needed to be a 58. So my box doesn't fit on the wheels. Everything's just too wide. It's got to be 4 inches shorter. I've been going back and forth with emails, and it's kind of gone radio silence in the last while. It's been 6 weeks. I don't have a shipping date. I don't really know what's going on, so I'm kind of not too impressed with that right at this moment. I really do need that rectified before I can do my final mock-up. That rear fender well's just kind of sitting on there. The box is just sitting on there. I do have a plan on how to do it without it. It would just be nice to have that problem rectified. So I am working on that still, and I do have a backup plan if that doesn't go through. But the rear of the box is going to be the big one. I have to build a complete structure with a tilting bed lift on it, the actuators, the scissor hinge mounting. So there's going to be probably a couple of videos regarding how I'm going to do that. I'm not entirely sure yet. I do have a good idea. So that's kind of what I'm going to be working on next. So after this video is complete, the priority is going to be the metal fab in the engine bay and that whole raised bed. Other small items is, the air compressors. I got to mount both those. Got to mount the air tank. All the fenders have structures to hold them together, some braces. They need to be cut out and fabbed because that's stopping the fenders to be able to lay frame on all four. So I got that kind of to figure out for a mock-up. So as you can see, some of the small things, they do add up. But once I tackle the major projects and the little ones aren't in the way so much, then I can kind of go after those after the big ones are done. So engine bay, backup box, those are the biggest ones out of the way. After that, finish all the small stuff, and then we can start taking the truck apart, start looking at paint, powder, and putting it together. We'll see you in the next episode.